Hi everybody, Jessie here from jessiebanks.com, and I'm back with another video. This one's super exciting. This is Jamie from Not Too Shabby Shop's new stamp set, and it is absolutely adorable. I love coffee. Coffee is my life. So this is like, I was so excited when Jamie asked me if I would participate in this YouTube hop and make a card or two for her, and I'm just checking out the quality of the stamp here. Sometimes some are thinner, some are thicker. I kind of like to play with them in my hand and get a feel for them. And these are really sturdy polymer stamps. I enjoy that they aren't like flopping around and they aren't really, really thin, or they say they're photopolymer and they're actually acrylic. You know what I mean? The quality of these stamps is the bomb. I am stamping on, this is Fabriano Artistico 140 pound hot press watercolor paper. This is the natural white version, so it is a little creamier. I don't mind that because it's watercolor paper, and I've been watercoloring for a lot of years, and watercolor paper is naturally creamier than your traditional bright white paper is. So I'm doing all of my stamping. Pardon my big head. Oh look, there's paint in my hair. Anyway, sorry, side note, see, look at it all. I was sanding and stuff, and I did this before I had a shower after work. You can tell. Bad. Anyway, I'm stamping all of the images here in VersaFine Onyx Black ink. This ink dries really fast on watercolor paper, on cotton watercolor paper, because it's actually cotton instead of pulp, so it absorbs that ink really, really fast, and it doesn't move when I hit it with water and things of that nature. So I'm going to do 3 pieces here, and I'm just placing them all up on our little scene that I'm building. I decided to go with watercolor because I figured lots of people are going to do Copic markers. I mean, that's kind of the go-to in card making. I personally love my markers, but I figured I'd do something a little bit different to show you guys, you know, it works really well with other mediums, and I think that this stamp set just loves watercolor. It's just got that feel for it for me. So now we're going to add in just a couple extra little elements. I'm putting a cupcake inside of the sign here, and then I'm going to put a cake on a cake stand underneath or on top of the cupboard. So we're just getting that all stamped up, and then we will get into the painting. So this stamp set will be available over at the Not Too Shabby Shop. I will have a link to it and everything in the description box below, of course. There is also a discount code there if you want to pick it up. I think it's good all day tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure offhand when it ends. I'm sorry, I've been working days and nights, and my brain is kind of kaputskis currently. So I'm just starting off here by wetting the background, and then I will go drop in, it's kind of like a purpley color. I mixed like a pink and a blue with a brown and just created a background color, something really, really soft. But I do go through and I wet everything. I could have sped this up a whole lot more, but this card came together very quick. It took me less than a half an hour from start to finish, so I've only sped the video up like 1.75 times its original speed, so we're not flying through it or anything. You guys can get a little feel for a bit more realistic speed that I paint. So I'm just being a little futzy, and I go back and forth right around the image because I tend not to lay as much water around the image as I do everywhere else, just so that it doesn't seep as far in. I don't want to make more of a mess than I have to. But I am going through now, and I'm dumping that, or tapping in that mauvey color in the background. They're scraping streets outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. So we're just going to carry on and get that color tapped in all the way through. I do dry it with my heat gun in between. A lot of the time I do like to just kind of walk away and let the paint do its thing and dry on its own. But I needed to get this card done, and with working days and nights this week and everything, just my hours being all messed up, I didn't have time to let things dry naturally in between, and that is when a heat gun comes in handy. So I am doing all of my painting. This is a silver black velvet brush. I like these brushes. I do find it starting to get a little floppy. I've had it for 6 or 8 months. I use it a fair bit though, so I've ordered a couple of red sable Kolinsky brushes. Cha-ching! Can you see the dollar signs in your head? And I'm hoping I'm going to love them when they get here, but we'll talk about those when they show up. So I am going into her face here, and what I do for my skin tone is I usually take titanium buff, some sort of a pink. I think I had, I'm going to say I had permanent rose madder on my palette, I do believe I used, and then a little bit of like a sepia in there just to create a skin tone, and I just kind of layer them over top of each other until I get the color that I want. I know it's a little difficult to see right now. I should have zoomed in more. I do that a little later. I catch up with myself and go, duh, Jessie. So like I was saying though, I'm really excited that Jamie's coming out with her own stamp line. Like, that's fantastic. Talk about goals. I'm hoping all the best for her. I love this stamp set. I can't wait to see what else is going to come in. I truly appreciate that she let me come along and do the video hop for her, along with all the other talented girls that are on her design team now or have been before and everything else. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. I will have another video coming up sometime next week. I'm not sure of the day yet. It depends on what work is like. But I am going to do another similar idea, but I'm going to color it with my Copics. So I'll film that one as well so that I can give you guys kind of both options of what I like to do here. So I'm working on her hair now, and I'm just going in. This is sepia, and I do believe I put just a tiny little bit of quinacridone gold in there because I need to put quinacridone gold in everything. It's kind of an obsession of mine. And I start with the lightest and then I work my way through to the darkest, and I just put a little less and a little less in. I don't get the detail that I do with my markers when I do this because I'm not doing those tiny little flicks and I don't have quite as much control, and I'm not letting the paint dry quite as far as I do with the other things when I'm working on her hair. But I'm so happy with the way this card comes out in the end. I think it's so pretty. It's a little bit more subdued and subtle colors. You can see now, see, told you I'd zoom in a little later. Now you can see what I'm doing, and you can see how I'm kind of following the artist drawn lines there of where the curves in the hair are. Where it bumps out, it's lighter, and where it kind of sits in closer to her head on her waves, it's a little bit darker. So we're just working our way through those and just deepening everything just to give her hair a little bit of life to it. So that'll be so pretty when it's done. So I zoomed out a little bit here again because I can't make up my mind. And now you can see all of the stamped images, but you're not quite so far back. So I'm going to take, this is sepia and quinacridone gold again, and I'm just putting it on the outside edges of the top and the bottom of her stand, and then I'm going to blend them into the middle just to create a little bit of interest and not have it be one flat color. I was initially wanting to do like making it look like it was painted. You know, people refinish things and then they give it like a shabby chic look where there's like a black or a white underneath. Then they put wax on before they paint it so they can wipe it off. And it looks really cool and pretty, but I decided to not do that because that's really hard to do with watercolor. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that work, but I can do it in markers. So I'm thinking that's what we're going to do when I get to doing it with my markers. Now I'm working on our teacups and things. I am trying to work on things that don't touch a whole lot just so that I can continue to paint without having to go in and dry everything in between. So you kind of like to work in different areas and let things dry before you go back to them and not touch something that's right beside something that's super wet. So it's a little bit of finesse. With hot press watercolor paper though too, it doesn't soak up as much water and take as much water, so it dries a lot faster than like your cold press or your rough papers will. But it's really pretty and it gives you that really soft, and it's easy to stamp on because it's smooth. That got really loud. Sorry about that. Because it's super smooth. Now I'm just taking, this is graphite gray. These are all, like I said, these are all Daniel Smith watercolors. This is graphite gray. And I'm just creating some shading so that looks like a really light gray center to her little countertop. I will put another coat in there just to deepen up the shadows a little bit. Now we're going to start on her strawberry milkshake. I go in with a little bit of pink, and then I add a little more in after. That is on the icing of the cupcake. Now we'll come back with a little bit darker one. I can see the stamp set used for so many things, like even outside of using the character is super cute and she's absolutely adorable standing in behind her thing. But I want to do it and bring in like one of the Greeting Farms coffee sets or some other coffee ones I have in my stash. When me and Jamie were talking, you could do like baking ones on top of it. That countertop's going to come in handy for lots of scenes, and I'm going to be getting a ton of use out of it. So don't look at this stamp set either and just think, well, I can make this one card a few times. This stamp set is going to be fantastic for all sorts of things. You have teacups and you have tea or coffee cups, you have cakes, you have cupcakes, you have all sorts of little things that you can add into your scenes that are just going to be awesome and lend themselves to some great cards, and to be able to be used with other stamp sets that you already have in your stash or you're going to add to your stash, because we all know we all buy more stamps. It's a thing. We do that. I get you because I do that. We're on the same page here. So I'm going to add in a little bit more shading to this guy. I did put a little bit of that lavender color on the icing of the cake as well when I did her little apron in. Little shading on that frame. We're getting close to the end here, guys. Make sure to check out everybody else in the hop. I'm going to mention that now for those of you that aren't going to watch to the bitter end, and I will say it again at the end when we get there. So I'm going to tell you twice to make sure to check everybody else out in the video hop, because I think everybody came up with some super fabulous designs, and the rest of the people in this hop are extremely talented and super great people, and you should definitely go give them a watch because it's fun to see what other people do, and it can broaden your horizons as to what can be done with this stamp set and other, you know, just other ways to use it, other ways to color it, different mediums, things of that nature. I really like getting a whole lot of variation into ideas for new stamp sets and things. That's why I really enjoy looking at, you know, I get a stamp set, I'm like, ooh, what did everybody else make with this? Like, help me out a little bit here. Putting a little red on the cherry and darkening up that icing just a hair. I love this. I think this turned out so pretty being watercolored. I do know that the colors are a little softer on camera. It's really hard for me to film watercolor, and when I filmed this it was snowing outside, so the lighting was a little bit mucked up, but I did the best that I could. You will see more true to color images or image of this at the end of the video when I add in the picture, so you will see that just a little more, it's a little more bright and vivid than it does come across on camera. But all in all, I'm super happy with this card, and I love this stamp set. Like, genuinely, I'm so pumped about this. And I hope you guys will all hop over onto the Not Too Shabby shop and pick this one up to add it to your stash, because it's great and it's something different, and it's nice to see new people come out with their own stamp lines and things of that nature. I mean, I can never have too many stamps, and I love stamping. It's kind of my thing if you've never watched my channel before. So we're just working on finishing up all of the last little details. This is where it kind of gets tedious and time consuming, because you're dropping in a few more shadows here and a little bit extra color there, and now I'm going to go and put some color along the bottom just to give her a little bit of ground, especially since I gave her a background. I wanted to put like some ground for that table to stand on just to finish it off. And then all I do is pull it apart. I do believe that's it for painting. We'll find out momentarily. Nope, wasn't done with the cake yet. See, I was wondering, because I'm like, So I just pull it apart here, and I will tape it onto an A2 top folding card. And I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up. Like I said, all the links to everybody else in the hop and a link to pick up your own stamp set will be in the description box below. If you have any questions or comments for me, leave them down below. I love hearing from you guys. It's truly a pleasure. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.